Hello and welcome to News Central Now. I am Adebola Adedugba. The top stories at this hour. Eleme Local Government Secretariat in Rivers State set ablaze as Inspector General of Police orders unsealing of secretariats 3 months after. Ethiopian lawmakers elect Foreign Minister Selassie as president. South African workers protest over cost of living and unemployment. And details shortly. Let's begin by telling you that a section of the Eleme Local Government Area Secretariat in Rivers State has been set ablaze. It was reported that the newly elected chairman, Brain Gokpa, came to the Secretariat accompanied by his councillors and supporters when discovered that some buildings in the complex had been set ablaze. According to the report, there is a palpable fear of a potential outbreak of violence in some local government areas of the state. Protesters in Ndodi local government areas invaded the council headquarters in Amoko, not allowing the newly sworn-in chairman to resume office. Meanwhile, the Rivers State Police Command has unsealed all 23 local government area secretariats in the state following the election and swearing in of new chairmen. And this was confirmed in a statement by the command spokesperson, Grace Enrique-Koko, earlier on Monday morning. She said a newly deployed Commissioner of Police, Mustafa Bala, acting on orders of the IGP, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered the immediate withdrawal of all police personnel previously deployed to seal and safeguard the council secretariat in the state. Now, this development was after Governor Siminalayi Fubara had sworn in 23 newly elected local government chairmen in the state. Similarly, some disagreements were said to have ensued in the Ahoada East of Rivers State following lifting of the 3-month ban on the local government area secretariat by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, on Monday. Ahoada East is the local government area of the Chief of Staff to the Governor, Edison Ehi. Reported it was that police officers were seen firing into the air to disperse persons who tried to resist the resumption of the Ahoada East chairman on Monday. A statement by the command spokesperson, Grace Enrique-Koko, earlier on Monday morning, directed the reopening of all 23 local government area secretariats in the state. Earlier, the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has raised alarm about his detractors who are mobilizing 20 people per political unit and allegedly instructed to attack the newly sworn-in chairman and councillors when they report to their various council secretariats to resume duties. The governor, however, advised the chairman not to confront the situation should it happen or fight anybody. Governor Fubara made a remark while charging the newly sworn-in 23 chairmen that emerged from the just concluded Rivers State local government election at the executive chambers of the Government House in Port Harcourt on Sunday.
I want to charge you to be peace-loving. I'm aware that they are mobilizing 20 people per unit to go and confront you tomorrow when you resume in your local government headquarters. But please, if they're coming with violence, avoid them. The peace of this state is too important to us. It is on public notice. Everybody knows what they're planning. But please, I want to beg every one of you, follow my approach. At the right time, you will always win if you're patient.
We have our correspondent, Aston, on standby to give us updates on the latest in Rivers State. Aston, what's the situation like in Obiokpo local government area in Rivers State?
Good afternoon. Currently, we are still here in the capital of Rivers State, and earlier on went to Faga, we went to Obiakpo and other local government areas. But nevertheless, at Faga here, it seems very peaceful. Workers turned up and they were quite happy that they have resumed their offices, and they expressed optimism, and they are quite very impressed with the turnout of events that led to their office being opened after 3 months. However, we therefore went further to Obiakpo local government area. Precisely, that's the local government of the FCT minister. And the councillors were sworn in. Immediately after the swearing in, we heard a sporadic gunshots from the entrance into the complex. And not only that, the gunshot was kind of, unstoppable. So another security agencies are here with the chairman and other security that were equally on ground. They exchanged fire, and it took about 20 minutes thereabout before we are able to navigate our ways from that particular area. So as we speak right now, Obiakpo local government area seems to be on fire because of the heavy gunshots. And not only that, the gunshot, however, affected some businesses that within that environment, and we have a close-by market that was equally affected. So people were just running, from one place to another, seeking how they'll be able to get cover. But we believe that by now, normalcy might have a return to that area, because obviously we have to leave our lives first.
Well, how about the security officers there? Do you see them, trying to nip things in the bud following this attack, on the Secretariat?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay, Austin, I was asking about the position of security officers there, following attacks, on the Secretariat there. How have they responded or tried to curb the situation?
Please, I can't hear you. Please, can you be louder?
All right, Austin, I'll try one more time. I was asking security officers there, around that, area, how have they been able to deal with the situation following the attack of, hoodlums, attacking the Secretariat there?
If security personnel were on the ground when the attackers came in.
Okay, since we're having connection issues with Austin Ozu, we'll try to connect with him to bring us up to speed regarding, activities there in Rivers State. But then we'll have a guest joining us live on the Rivers Politics, and he's a legal counsel to Action People's Party, Henry Ikene. Good morning, good afternoon rather. Glad to have you join me on the news. Now, a section of the Eleme Local Government Area Secretariat in Rivers State was set ablaze this morning. What do you think about this development? Is it in connection with the outcome of the local government election?
Thank you. First, I would condemn that kind of behavior. There's no justification for Aston. There's no justification for willful destruction of public property. It's not just Eleme local government. I've also seen pictures emerging from the Equity local government secretariat at Ishoko. I think these are disturbing moments in Rivers State, condemnable to the extreme, and there is no justification whatsoever. But whether they are connected to the outcome of local government elections, they are not directly connected. The local government elections have held in Rivers State peacefully, smoothly, credibly, and then freely, because Rivers indigenous and residents are happy that on Saturday they came out and then decided their right to determine who governs them. And that election concluded on Saturday. Those who were elected were also inaugurated on Sunday. So I think that is where elections end. But this is post-election violence, not really directly connected to the election. But I think they are actually deliberate, frustrated deviants in society, so to speak. There is no way we will justify any social behavior that would directly affect public property and lead to destroy public property in any regard. Vandalism is condemned. So for me, but one thing I think I will connect this probably by my imagination is the last 3 months, the 23 local government secretariats in Rivers State were unreasonably seized, I would say, by...
Can you hear me? Okay, seems we lost a bit of a connection there with our guest. We'll see if we can connect with them in the course of the news bulletin. But elsewhere, Ondo State Office of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Okay, we have our guest reconnecting with us again. Mr. Ikene, can you hear me? Okay. We'll carry on with the news and see if we can indeed establish connection with him. Elsewhere in Ondo State, where the State Office of the Independent National Electoral Commission has commenced the distribution of the non-sensitive election materials for the November 16 off-cycle governorship election in the state. The resident electoral commissioner of the state, Oluwatoyin Babalola, stated this at a media briefing in Akure on Saturday on preparation of the commission for the election. Babalola noted that a large percentage of the non-sensitive election materials for November 16, 2024 poll have been received and distributed to the 18 local government areas of the state. According to her, the materials are kept in safe places as the Commission is working closely with security agencies to protect them. Thank you for staying with us. The Senior Staff Association of Statutory Corporation and Government-Owned Companies, an affiliate of the Trade Union Congress of National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, have begun an indefinite strike. The workers' indefinite strike is over the failure of the management to address certain issues regarding the welfare of its members. The aggrieved workers said the move was necessary after several meetings with the management over critical issues that have to do with promotion, salaries, and general welfare of staff, which failed to yield positive results. Following the confirmation of Justice Kudirat Kekeriekon as substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria, some activists in the nation's capital, Abuja, have expressed high expectations from the new Chief Justice. Some of them, while speaking to News Central Television, raised concerns over the slow dispensation of justice in the country, which has birthed the rise in the number of awaiting trial cases. News Central's correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu tells us more.
The Nigerian courts have continued to be a beehive of activities. While much expectations have been placed on judges in the country, there are many who believe that there is so much that needs to be done for the judiciary to earn its trust in the eyes of the public. With a new Chief Justice taking over the saddle of leadership in the country and threatening to cleanse the nation's judiciary, many believe there are several areas that a new helmswoman needs to focus on.
I think one of the things that I'm expecting from Justice Kekeriekun is that swift judiciary. We want issues, especially when it comes to gender-based violence. We want swift action. We want, everything should go very, like a fast track. We want a fast track system, whether it's in the High Court, whether it's in the Court of Appeal, whether it is in the Supreme Court. On the issue of nomination and on the issue of appointment of the judiciary, we need to be firm, we need to be principled. So that's another expectation, that it will be according to according to integrity and according to accountability. So we want a judiciary that will be very accountable, not only to the people, but even to itself.
We want a complete departure for frivolous actions that has been carried out by other members of the judiciary. For example, giving conflicting judgments coming from court of coordinate jurisdiction. That should be looked into seriously. A recent example is a state high court in Rivers gave an order that RISEC, that is Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, should go ahead and conduct election in Rivers. But as we speak, a federal high court in Abuja gave a conflicting order that election should be put on hold. Which are we to obey?
That will be very accountable.
Moju Rayo is a human rights activist. She believes the track record of female judges are quite impressive and a better feat can be recorded by the new CJN.
But one thing that we've already noticed, that when women are in power, when women have the opportunity to do administrative work, they do it very, very well, because it's something we do normally in the house, and we are used to being administrators. So I am very hopeful. I'm very expectant. I'm expectant because I know that what it means for women is that more women can aspire to that position. More women can look at this as an inspiration that, even encourage other younger women, especially most young women that are going into law schools today. Most of them, oh no, I don't want to be a litigation lawyer. I don't want to do litigation. I want to be just a legal counsel in one company and all that. But when they see that there is a space that allows women to rise, not only should they rise, but they are sitting in #1 seat of the judiciary in the country. I think that is a motivation enough for them to think about, okay, maybe litigation is not bad. For someone like me, I love litigation very well. And when I hear younger ones saying that, oh, they don't love litigation, I try to encourage them. And I think one of the talking points really is to be telling them, can't you see Justice Kekere? Can you see what she has been able to impact the judiciary to the extent that now she's sitting at this particular position, which means that this gives her the opportunity to make policies. You can make judicial policies and direct the state of the judiciary in Nigeria for the better.
Justice Kukere Okun was confirmed by the Senate and assumed office as the 23rd substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria and the second female to occupy the office in Nigeria's history. In Abuja, for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Following devastating floods that have crippled hospitals and left many in urgent need of medical care, a federal lawmaker, Ahmed Satomi, has launched a mobile clinic initiative aimed at providing immediate relief to affected communities in Eleme Local Government of Borno State. Our correspondent, Umaru Kirawa, tells us more.
The aftermath of the recent floods in Maiduguri has given rise to a worrying cholera outbreak, further exacerbated by the collapse of healthcare infrastructure.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with NCDC and other partners, recorded 451 cases of acute watery diarrhea. A national reference laboratory in Abuja has confirmed 17 out of these samples we have sent were positive for Vibrio cholerae.
As flood recovery efforts continue in Maiduguri, community health initiatives are ramping up in response to the dual challenges of infrastructure damage and disease outbreaks. A relief to Jere and other communities in its environs as a mobile clinic has been introduced to provide emergency services. The outreach, which began this week, is set to deliver essential medical services, and the people are happy with the development.
With the basic diagnosis, basic treatment, I'm sure they will get better. And those that require secondary health issues, this constituency office and this program will guide them. And there are no any, I challenge, and I said it in the media, that there is no any proper nutritional project going on in this country.
Access to clean water remains a significant challenge now, leading to increased fears of further spread of diseases like cholera.
You have to wash your hands regularly. When you go to the toilet and you come back, you wash your hands. We do that, but this is for those who are not here, for them to understand. The risk is also that those who handle food must now pay particular attention to hygiene.
Alongside the newly launched mobile clinic by a federal lawmaker, several local health organizations are mobilizing volunteers to conduct door-to-door health assessment and distribute medical supplies. In Jere for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Many rural communities in Nigeria's southeast constantly face environmental issues such as erosion and flooding, which sometimes destroys houses and displaces families. In Abia State, residents of Umuakaka community in Nkata, Ibeku, Umuahia North Local Government Area say the flooding they now suffer is human-induced. News Central's Chinwe Ugele paid a visit to the community and now reports.
The owners of the buildings and inhabitants of this area in Umuakaka-Nkati-Beku community in Umuahia North Local Government Area did not envisage such situation years back when they moved in.
Yes, how we're seeing the thing have been disturbing us every year during rainy season. The flood, the rain, the water will fill this place. As you're seeing it now, even this one you're seeing is just small. Because the rain that fall this month is just a small one. When the big rain fall, you see that everywhere. We see this place will be flooding too much.
One of the earliest developers in the area who probably had a premonition about the future single-handedly constructed a culvert some years ago and channeled the flowing water from a river in another community to its endpoint at Ehimiri. But as the years rolled by, they began to witness and experience flooding from a formerly flowing water supposedly occasioned by the disruption of its flow by a structure erected by yet-to-be-identified person. The flooding in Umuakaka-Nkati-Beku in Umuahia North Local Government Area started from this very area with the construction of the fence behind me by the owner of the property. Today, incidentally, it's just a minor rainfall, but then there's also flooding in the community. Each rainfall becomes a nightmare for the occupants of this community, who seem helpless all the time.
Even in Lotalara, home at Milis Weber. I live with Eba Manala to the bullet Yoko to Puyabata, no lawyer.
Through self-help, the residents have devised different methods of managing the situation after each rainfall.
I bought a pump for my area to pump out so that we will only be safe inside. But those without pump used to pack out.
Although they claim to have made complaints to the community leadership, no action has been taken in this regard.
Even when we reported to the elders of this community, they don't do anything concerning it.
They are therefore calling on the state government to come to their aid by constructing drainage that will help control flooding in the community.
If they can come and do a drainage at the back of these places, it will help us.
Government generally can control the flood. Eme drainage eba, oge nyere anyaka. Emeti Duran was eba wage to for the erosion. Oge nyekura anyaka.
If they can open up these routes, they call here Une. This is Une route, river Nibeko, Une route. So if they can come to our aid by opening this route and break that foundation that somebody blocked there and allow the flood to pass through, we won't be suffering all these things.
Commissioner for Environment in the state, Philemon Obuna, has promised to visit the area to ascertain the cause of the flooding and determine how it can be mitigated. In Umuahia for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
Thank you for staying with us. Ethiopian lawmakers have elected Foreign Minister Taye Selassie as the country's new president, a largely ceremonial position. This marks the end of Sahle-Work Zewedi's tenure, leaving Africa with only one female head of state. Sahle-Work Zewedi, a respected diplomat, had served as Ethiopia's president since 2018, following Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's rise to power. Taye Selassie, now Ethiopia's fifth president since the adoption of the current constitution in 1995, can serve a maximum of 2 6-year terms. Taye was appointed foreign minister in February and has previously held key diplomatic positions, including as ambassador to the United Nations and Egypt. The news continues in North Africa, where Tunisia's incumbent president, Kais Said and his supporters celebrate as they are set to win the country's presidential election with 89.2% support despite a low turnout according to exit polls. 3 years after Said staged a sweeping power grab, rights group fear re-election will only further entrench his rule in the country, the only democracy to emerge from the Arab Spring uprisings. The Tunisian's electoral board, Asia, has said about 9.7 million people were eligible to vote in a country whose population is around 12 million. Only 27.7% of voters turned out to cast their ballot. Over 58% were men and 65% aged between 36 and 60 years.
أنا جيت باش نحتفل بالانتصار اليوم بفرحة كبيرة اليوم ما توصفش اليوم الضربة القاضية
اليوم خرج الشعب التونسي وانتصر لشعبه ولبلاده. المرحلة القادمة ستكون مرحلة مهمة لأنها ستستجيب لانتظار.
We'll turn our attention now to a significant event unfolding in Johannesburg, where members of the Congress of South Africa Trade Unions, or COSATU, have taken to the street in a powerful demonstration against the ongoing economic crisis plaguing the nation. As thousands of workers gathered to voice their frustration, they are highlighting the urgent issues of high unemployment, rampant poverty, and stark income inequality, challenges that have left many families struggling to make ends meet. Thank you for staying with us. And still staying in Nigeria, precisely Rivers State, following the local council election where violence ensued. We have our correspondent there, Austin Azu, to give us updates regarding attack following the election there for the local chairman. Austin, just bring us up to speed. How are events unfolding in Rivers State?
Yes,
we are just sworn in by the council chairman. Everybody is running away from the council hall because of the invasion by unknown gunmen. The sitting was ongoing, and the councillor, we are just sworn in by the council chairman. Everybody is running out now because of the sporadic gunshot that took place here not quite long from Abia Local Government Area of Rivers. I'm Austin Azu. There's sporadic gunshots here at Abia Local Government Area. There's sporadic gunshots here at Abia Local Government Area. Police are taking over here. Oh, Jesus. They are currently on the floor. The gunshot is so heavy.
Austin, I mean, following that dramatic scene there, people scampering for safety, regarding the gunshots there, how has, things panned out now so far?
Pardon?
Can you hear me, Austin? Okay, I was asking regarding, the live footage we saw of people scampering for safety following gunshots, the reports we watched just now. How would you describe things there now?
Well, we spoke to some of them. Some of them expressed dissatisfaction over the process, and they were not quite happy about the turn of events. Ordinarily, they wish that the exercise will just be a smooth one for them to assume their various offices. I mean, the councillors themselves and the chairman. Of course, they actually assured them that everywhere is peaceful, but to their surprise that this attack came as a surprise to many of them, which they expressed displeasure. But nevertheless, some of them might be, wondering how this event turns out, and we don't know if the security agencies will continue to provide security for particularly those secretariat that we are not fully, raised down, like Obiakpo, for instance, and other areas that they attempted to, to raise down.
All right, Austin, thank you so much for that coverage. We'll keep in touch with you to see how things unfold there in Rivers State, and please do stay safe. Palestinians in Jabalia in northern Gaza reflect 1 year after the October 7th Hamas-led attack on Israel that triggered a war that has killed tens of thousands in Gaza and destroyed vast swathes of the territory.
قطاع غزة تعرض لتدمير شامل في هذه الحرب الغير مسبوقة، الحرب الكونية، حرب الإبادة التي يشنها الاحتلال الإسرائيلي على قطاع غزة لما يقرب من 12 شهر تقريبا عام، وهي مستمرة. هذه الحرب أدت إلى تدمير ما يزيد عن 150 ألف وحدة سكنية بشكل كامل و100 ألف وحدة سكنية بشكل بليغ.
7 أكتوبر هو يوم تاريخي. 7 أكتوبر عبر الشعب الفلسطيني ولا الإسرائيلي راح ينسى. ما زلنا احنا بحاجة لمجاعة عنا، ما زال عنا وباء من أثر ضربات البنية التحتية. نواجه مشكلة في المياه والأدوية والعلاج والمسكن والمشرب.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed on Monday to bring back all hostages still held by Palestinian militants in Gaza as Israel marks the first anniversary of the October 7 attack by Hamas. The Premier's comments came just hours after an Israeli campaign group announced the death of another hostage held in Gaza. The Hostages and Missing Families Forum said Idan Shitivi, 28, was abducted from the site of the Nova Music Festival, and his body is still held captive by Hamas. Out of 251 people taken hostage that day, 97 are still being held inside the Gaza Strip, including 34 who the Israeli military says are dead.
ביום הזה, במקום הזה, ובמקומות רבים בארצנו, אנחנו זוכרים את נופלינו, את חטופינו, שאנו מחויבים להחזירם, את גיבורינו שנפלו למען הגנת המולדת והארץ. עברנו טבח נורא לפני שנה, ואנו קמנו כעם, כאריות, העם כלוי יקום וכארי יתנשא.
In the meantime, Israel marks the first anniversary of the October 7 attack by Hamas militants, the deadliest in the country's history, which shocked the nation and sparked the war in Gaza. A series of memorials and rallies have been planned across the country to mark the attack, while the military said it was striking Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip. President Isaac Herzog began the day with a moment of silence at 6:29 a.m., the moment the attack began at Kibbutz Reim, the site of the Nova Music Festival attack by militants, where at least 370 people were killed. In the city of Tel Aviv, families of hostages and supporters call for the return of their loved ones, holding up their pictures, while the relatives of victims recall their experiences and mourn their losses.
זה עצוב לראות את כל הצעירים האלה שנרצחו, כאילו שבחרו אותם בפנצטה, כולם יפים, כולם אהבו את החיים, כולם באו לשמוח ולרקוד, וגמרו את החיים שלהם בצורה מאוד עצובה. אחר הודעות לבת שלה שיש אזעקות והם יורים עליהם. הם הצליחו לנסוע עד מפלסים, ושם הרגו 2 בחורים שהיו איתם, והיא ובחור נוסף ועוד בחורה התחברו בפרדסים. ואז היא כותבת, לא צריך, אנחנו רואים אותם, זה בסדר, אל תדאגו. למעשה הם ראו את החיילים, את הנוח'בה, עם מדים של צה"ל, הם חשבו שהם באים לעזור להם. והם רצחו אותם.
תחושה מאוד קשה. אותה תחושה קשה כמו לפני שנה. אין שום שוני. כל יום שעובר מאוד קשה. והכאב לא דועך, להפך, הוא רק מתגבר. וכיכרין ב6:30 בבוקר שלחה הודעה שהמסיבה הסתיימה, והיא בדרך הביתה. אוקיי, אז קרין בדרך הביתה, והכנו לנו לשתות קפה. ובגלל שקרין הגיעה לפה עם גבס ברגל, אז היא ביקשה, ערב לפני היא ביקשה שנחליף לה מצעים. החלפתי לה מצעים, סידרתי לה את החדר, כי קרין צריכה לחזור, היא בדרך הביתה. ופתאום אנחנו מקבלים הודעה, אם אני לא חוזרת הביתה.
Lagos State is grappling with a serious environmental issue due to the large amounts of plastic waste, especially from single-use plastics, SUPs, like PET bottles and sachet water packaging. Now, this non-biodegradable materials contributes to pollution, clog drainage system, and pose health risk. In response, the government plans to ban SUPs starting January 2025, aiming to mitigate these challenges. However, this decision raises concerns about the economic and operational impacts on local businesses and residents. And during a discussion on Business Edge, Perpetual Fasimi Peter inquired about how these businesses would adapt and the potential effects of their operations following the announcement of the ban.
You know, so many people are engaged in water production and the uses. As far as we water producer is concerned, it's going to affect us negatively. Negatively in the sense that it can stop production because we have not actually worked towards it. We are just hearing, changing from one system to another system. You know, it will involve costing. We will sort for money or funds to do that. And then another thing is that we have to prepare for the material to be used. And the material, if we are preparing the material for the production, we have to work in conjunction with the government and the environment and the community. So that it's going to affect us seriously. It's going to stop production. It's going to involve costing. It's going to create unemployment for millions that are engaged in water production. That is part. Then those who are end user, because most of the people, I mean almost 90%.
In sport, Enyiba have been drawn against two Egyptian sides, Zamalek and Al Masry, in Group D of the CAF Confederation Cup group stage. The Buttons Black Bulls of Mozambique are the other team in the group. Enyiba booked their spot in the money-spinning group stage following a penalty shootout win over Filante of Burkina Faso in the second preliminary round. The People's Elephant will be looking to make history as the first Nigerian club to win Africa's second-tier club competition. The group stage, according to CAF, will kick off in November 2024. Now, only top two teams in the group will proceed to the knockout round. Aston Villa striker Jhin Duran has signed a new deal at Villa Park to keep him at the club until 2030. The 20-year-old moved to Villa Park in January 2023 in an £18 million deal from Major League Soccer club Chicago Fire, signing a 5.5-year deal until 2028. The Colombian came close to leaving Villa in the summer after interest from Chelsea and West Ham. But he remained in the Midlands and has scored 6 times so far this season, including a 1-0 win against Bayern Munich in the Champions League last week. Duran has scored winning goals against West Ham, Leicester and also Everton in the Premier League so far this season. And that's all on the news. Let's take a look again at some of the major stories. Eleme Local Government Secretariat in Rivers State has been set ablaze as Inspector General of Police ordered unsealing of Secretariats 3 months after. Ethiopian lawmakers have elected Foreign Minister Selassie as president. We also told you that South African workers have protested over cost of living and unemployment. You can watch News Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Adebola Adedugba.